everybody, and welcome to Your Spiritual Best Friend on Spotify or wherever you guys are listening to the podcast. I am the host, Josh Sanchez, and the purpose of Your Spiritual Best Friend is to connect spirituality, mental health, and astrology all in one, because it's important for everyone to realize that we are all on our own spiritual journey at the end of the day. So the more we open up, the more we are able to connect with each other and grow as a collective society. So sit back and relax and enjoy Your Spiritual Best Friend. Hey everybody, and welcome to Your Spiritual Best Friend. I am your host, Josh Sanchez. And for today's podcast, it is a solo podcast. It is just going to be me and you guys here just having a wonderful conversation just about the universe, Mercury in retrograde, patience, so much stuff that I just been thinking about lately. It's been on my mind for a couple weeks now. And now it's just, I think now's the time to really just be honest and tell you guys what the heck has been going on, not only with the universe, but also with myself. So with this podcast, we're going to start off with just a simple conversation with me talking to you guys about Mercury in retrograde. I'm also going to get into patience and what really should we all do during times where things might not be going our way. How can we handle these stressful emotions? But the second part of the podcast, I actually got a chance to have a couple guest callers. I did a live chat last week, and I had 3 wonderful people that were brave enough to let me even give them a quick little chart reading. So once we're done this first part of the conversation, if you guys want, you guys can tune in to that next part. So I have 3 people that called in, 3 wonderful people. James, Hakeem, and Eternity, 3 wonderful people that shared their story, shared a little bit of their journey, and also we talked a lot about astrology, and I answered a lot of their questions and stuff like that as well. I am also dealing with some allergies as well, so if you guys hear like a vent in the background, or if you guys might hear me take deeper breaths, it's just because I have been dealing with a lot of allergies lately, so just be patient with me, guys, and I really appreciate the feedback and everything that you guys do as my listeners. It really means a lot to me. But I just want to give you guys a heads up. So if the podcast might be a little bit different, or I might sound a little bit different than I usually do, I apologize. But a lot has been happening in my life recently, and between me not feeling good and stuff. And I'll get into that in a little bit. But with the first part, the beginning part of this podcast, I really just wanted to start off with just a check-in. So as I describe what I am currently going through, Mercury is in retrograde. And what that means is Mercury is the planet of communication, travel, day-to-day routines. It's a lot of just intellect, how we connect with people. Mercury is just very big on communication. So if you think of Mercury, think of communication and travel. So what happens is when Mercury is in retrograde, the planet Mercury, so Mercury is the messenger of all of the planets. So Mercury goes everywhere. It goes to the sun, it goes to the moon, it goes everywhere. So when Mercury's in retrograde, all of the communication aspects are thrown out of whack. So when any planet goes in retrograde, normally a planet is in a normal orbit, they're moving forward. When planets are in retrograde, they move backwards. So to visualize this perfectly, picture yourself, you guys are on your own little journey, whether that's like reading a book or you're on like a short little travel. Let's say you're going to a friend's house, right? And you realize halfway on your way to your friend's house that you forgot some items. You need to go back and get them. By you going back, your normal routine is thrown a little bit out of whack. So although you're still functioning and you're still going to hang out with your friends and have fun, but because you went back to go get your stuff, that normal routine or that normal plan that you had is thrown out of whack a little bit. That is an example of when any planet goes into retrograde. So it's like these planets have these normal, consistent orbits, but then all of a sudden they're like, oh snap, I need to go back. And when they go back, it throws us off a little bit from our normal routines. So Mercury goes into retrograde at least a couple times a year. So this is one of those planets where it happens yearly, and we all go through moments throughout the year where things do get thrown out of whack, but it's going to be okay. And that saying, it's going to be okay, is something for me that I've had to repeat with myself. So for me, there's two phrases that I say that I've learned through therapy and I've learned through my own trauma work. One, I am in charge, and one, that I am going to be okay. These two sayings for me have really helped me with regrounding myself during moments of high stress or moments of high anxiety. For you guys might have different sayings, but we all have a saying that if we say it out loud, it really helps us calm ourselves down. So for me, those are the two sayings for me that I say whenever things get rough. Because it's important to realize that in moments where things are thrown out of whack and things don't go according to plan, and you might get thrown a curveball that you just never expected, regrounding yourself is the first step to really just help recenter and just realize that, you know what, although this situation might have happened, I am going to be okay. I'm still on the right track. It's not going to throw me off completely. And that is something that I've really had to realize these past couple weeks, because for one, I had a bad case of allergies, worse than I've ever had probably in a couple years. It was to the point where like my eyes were starting to get red just due to the pollen. And I did all the techniques. I took allergy medicine every single day. I tested for COVID multiple times, tested negative every single time. My voice was stuffy. I had a tough time breathing. I was taking Dayquil, allergy medicine, NyQuil, Advil. I was taking all the meds, and it just was not working. And I just really had to be patient with my body, because I need to work and I need to make money, but I had to really be patient with myself. And to top it off, my car also got hit while I was parking. And for you guys that are consistent listeners, you guys know that I make the majority of my money through my car. So I had to get that adjusted. I had to get a rental, which took a week for me to get the rental. But it was just a lot of stuff that was thrown out of my normal routine. And I could have panicked. I could have spazzed out. I could have shut down. But I just took that time to recenter, reground myself. Luckily, I was able to connect with some new people. I did a couple of live talks, and it's been a lot of fun that way. And it's been a real eye-opening experience for me, and it's been great. So regrounding and recentering helps us build that patience with ourselves, so that way during times of adjustment or times of high stress, we're not taking it out on other people and we're not shutting down. Because that's what Mercury in retrograde does. And that's what a lot of planets, when they do go in retrograde, that's what they do to us. These are periods where, yes, things are thrown out of whack and it might suck. But if you take the time to just learn something new during this time period, learn to be patient with yourself, and to just feel what the universe is giving to you and showing to you in this particular time period, you learn something new about yourself that you didn't think was even possible. And for me, I'm very hardworking, and I'm go, and I'm running all over the place. That I've realized that if I do take time to slow down a little bit, that'll really help me in my own journey, being a mental health counselor, being a spiritual healer, being a podcaster, because I'm going to need that. Because if I'm constantly running around with my head cut off, it's just going to lead to one big mess, you know? So as I described what I experienced, so I experienced me being sick, I've experienced my car getting hit. If some stuff resonates with you guys, great. But if something does not, it might not have to be exactly what I'm experiencing, but just ask yourself, what has really gone on these past couple weeks? Has anything been thrown out of order? Has an ex randomly tried to pop up? Has family members that have caused you stress? Have they tried to pop up? Have you experienced any career and financial troubles? Think about all of these questions as I'm describing what I've experienced. And feel free, guys, to message me if you guys have, because you're not alone. We are all going through something. And this time period, it's going to get heightened even more because the Mercury, planet of communication, it's in Libra. And Libra is all about the balance scale. So it's finding that balance, finding that harmony. And right now, we're struggling with finding that balance. But not to worry, next week, or towards the end of this week, this weekend actually, Mercury is going to shift back to Virgo. So whatever you guys have been dealing with for the past month, you might feel that energy again, or past couple months, you might feel that energy again because it's going back into Virgo. And Virgo is all about the details and hard work. So just think about that, guys, as we are dealing with it. But we have a couple more weeks left of Mercury retrograde, and then we are good. So push through, guys, and just let me know what are some things that you guys learned about yourself as well. So I really want to get you guys thinking that way, because that is what happens in periods of high stress. What usually happens? How do you normally react? What are some positives that you do? What are some negatives that you do? This is a really eye-opening moment for all of us to just realize, like, hey, I'm learning new stuff about myself and I need to work on this, or, hey, I'm really proud of myself here. Give yourself some credit, give yourself some gratitude, but also reflect and be honest with yourself as well during these time periods, because it's a must. But before I wrap up this first part, I just want to give you guys a couple special announcements. So I know that I'm doing live chart readings. I've been very excited for that. If you guys are ever interested in doing getting your live chart read, one-on-one hour session with me, you guys can do that. I'm very patient, down to earth. Prices will vary depending on the income that you have, but the link will be in the show notes for you guys to check that out. For these 3 callers that called in, I did a live astrology chart reading. I just did a quick 10-minute one. For you guys, it would be more personal, and I would give you more of a platform for you to speak and feel comfortable, because I'm also studying counseling as well. So it's like picture coming into this space and you're talking about spirituality, but then also getting counseling in the process. It's pretty much a 2-for-1. So I really just want to combine the two and help. So it's a whole hour session, and just know that it's a safe space. That's something that I really want to take pride in. Safe space. And so far it's been great. I've received some really good feedback. So just let me know if you guys are interested in that, because I want to help and I want to provide resources for people as well. Also, during this Mercury in retrograde, I was guest potting a lot. And on one of the podcasts that I was on, she gave me a wonderful opportunity. And I'm just so thankful. So she realized how passionate I was during the interview, talking about helping people and being there for others. She told me that over time, she's looking for people to run online courses. So that is something that I'm going to try and do in the future, probably in the winter once I'm done school, once I have like a little break in school. But I'll let you guys know once the courses get launched as well, and if you guys can sign up and learn more. I was thinking for the courses to have an astrology one, but that one was just a very basic and simple course. But my second one, I really want to focus on building a strong relationship with yourself and being able to be a great friend for the people around you, being a really cool emotional support system for your friends, family, loved ones, how you do that, and how to learn a little bit more about yourself. So that idea is still in the woodworks. I need to get more specific, obviously, but that opportunity came up for me, and I just wanted to talk to you guys about it. Let me know how you guys feel about it. You guys can message me. It would really mean a lot, because this podcast has been great, but I'm looking to expand a couple more avenues to add to the podcast. So whatever you guys have, whatever feedback, I love it. and I really appreciate you guys so much. But this concludes the first part of the podcast. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Talked a little bit about adjustment, patience, what's been going on in my lifetime. And I asked you guys questions, what's been going on in your own lifetime. So think about that as you guys tune in. But up next, I have 3 wonderful callers, starting with Eternity, then Hakeem, and then James. 3 wonderful voices. I know Eternity is a poet. I know Hakeem is into numerology, and James has his own podcast called His Speak. So 3 wonderful people, 3 wonderful conversations. So stay tuned for that. And you get to know a little bit about how I do quick astrology chart reading. So you get a little taste of what it's like having a one-on-one session with me. And obviously for the hour, we would have more time to be with each other. So let me know how you guys feel about everything as well. But without further ado, here is the second part of the podcast. Hey everyone. This episode is brought to you by Podcash as a collaboration between Racket and Stir. Podcash gave away over $100,000 to up-and-coming podcasters as a way to support insanely creative and inspiring podcasters. We know how difficult it can be to get a podcast off the ground and running, but with Podcash, it's a great way to get cash, and best of all, it's all free for your podcast. So if podcasting has been on your to-do list, or you're already a podcaster, go to podcash.com to stay up to date with future podcast happenings. That's again, podcash.com. podcash.com. I hope to see your future podcast. All right, here we go. We got our first guest already. Hello, good morning.
Well,
how are you doing?
Here, but good afternoon over here where I'm at.
Oh, snap. It is good afternoon. My fault.
Well, I don't know. I don't know. I was assuming you may be in the West Coast. Maybe, I don't know. Sure.
But yeah, how are you doing?
I'm all right. How are you?
Oh man, this Mercury retrograde has been kicking my butt. I must say, it's been a lot. If I could describe it in one word, it's been just adjustment. Like that's been the word for me. Like
that's a good word.
Like my routine has been thrown off completely. How about yourself though?
Same. I've been really tired. I've been really, really, really tired. And around this time, actually, I want to take a nap right now. But I saw you doing live readings, and I'm like, definitely want to hop on this.
Yeah. Well, if you're okay with it, that's cool. But if you want your live chart read, I can do that for you right now. Is that something that you're interested in? And
yes, sir. Please and thank you.
Yeah. All right. So I got your chart pulled up. The first thing I see right away that pops up, you have a ton of 4th house placements. The 4th house has all of those qualities. So it's like caretaking, home, family life. So for you, like you have your sun is in the 4th house. So your sun is, like the ego, your identity, so right away I see your sun, Mercury, Venus, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune all in the 4th house. It's a lot of planets in this house. So my first question for you, just keep it very simple. When it comes to your own family life and like your own sense of home, how has that been for you? Has it been a challenge? Has it been something that's been easy for you? How has that really been for you?
It was a challenge growing up. Lack of empathy, lack of affection. So my friends became my family.
Okay, I got you as well. And someone else that has, I know for me as well, I know when it comes to my own parents too, like I've always had shaky relationships with my own parents too. So similar to you, like me and my friends, we've really gotten close. Like I see, similar to you, I see my friends more as like my like deep family. So that's something that I can definitely relate to. on some sort of level, if you get what I'm saying. But that's one of the first things that I see right away. So obviously for the very beginning, like chart readings, we always start with your big three, obviously. So like your rising sign is, you know, the first house. It's the physical self. It's literally when you're born, this was the energy where your soul hit your body. And this is your physical self, the mask that you really want to present to people. And your rising is in Libra. So
Correct.
Libras are all about striking and finding that balance and finding that harmony. Is that something that you really strive towards or have always had a passionate towards, you know, is finding that harmony and balance?
Absolutely. For sure.
Definitely, definitely. And I could tell even when you just called now, I was like, you seem very chill, you know, like I was like, okay.
Yeah.
Of course. So I see your chart right away. It's a lot of fourth house placements, and I know we don't have to go too in depth with that, but that's something that popped up right away. Your sun is in Capricorn. I know you mentioned that your moon is in Aries, and Aries is all about, you know, like that passion, that fire, self-starting. And for you, your moon is in the seventh house. So the seventh house is all about commitments, partnerships. Like this is how the seventh house is sort of like the house where we really find and connect with people and establish those partnerships, you know? So to have your moon there, your moon is the planet obviously of like your emotions and all that stuff too, you know, the unconscious and how it's your internal world versus your sun, which is your ego, what you present in the exterior world. So when it comes to like partnership and like connecting with people, have you had any challenges or if you had any like moments where like your emotions might have taken a little bit too over or the other way around?
Absolutely. I've definitely acted in my emotions in past relationships and learned a lot from that. And I speak about that in my book openly.
Of course. And I know we have a couple more minutes left because I also want to give you the floor as well to share, because I know you said that you're writing a book and stuff. Where can everybody check out your work and everything too?
Thank you. The link is in my bio. My website is myfullname.com, eternityfully.com. I have 4 books. The new one is about soulmates, as I've met a few of mine this past year. Soulmates can be platonic, by the way, y'all. So yeah, meeting my soulmates and mentally and spiritually preparing myself for my divine soulmate that I hope to share my life with. That's where I'm at. My previous books are about, I write like the chapters of my life, so I write really openly about my relationships, the lessons I've learned in romance, friendship, and family. So that's what my book's about, and I get more personal with each book. The first one is called Eyes Wide Open, which is about my first spiritual awakening. It was like 4 years in the making. And the second one is Love Out Loud, which I wrote during the pandemic, about how we need to just treat each other better and what it's like to be Black in America, a Black woman in America. And the third is Your Black is Beautiful, which I get really personal in there and write the pieces that I wrote during National Poetry Month, which is April of every year, are in there. And it's an ode to the Black community, love on yourself. And as I mentioned, the new one is about soulmates. I have another one that's on Amazon called Talk Out Loud, which is the lessons I've learned in my last partnership and opened my eyes to a lot of things, for sure.
Beautiful work, and I'll make sure again. I know you mentioned that you have the link in your profile. I'll make sure to check that out as well. Thank you, Eternity, as well. That's beautiful stuff.
Thank you. I appreciate the reading.
Oh, of course, and I'll make sure I'll screenshot you everything. Again, this is super quick, so it's like obviously like if I have more time, I'll be able to like come off more stuff because I know.
No worries. I have like an app with my whole thingy, so I was like looking at what you're saying. I'm like, yeah, he's right. Looking at my chart. But if you can send me what you did, I would appreciate that.
Oh,
and
yeah, of course.
Shout out to one of my soulmates that's on this call, and I won't call out his name. But I thank you for your time, Joshua.
Of course. Thank you, Eternity, as well. Thank you. That was really nice. Thank you, Eternity, again, because I know sharing our charts and stuff, it can be very personal at times, and that's awesome. 4 books. I know writing a book is a big challenge. I know this because my current girlfriend is she's trying to write her first poetry book. So I know it's a lot of work and trying to get it published. So power to you, Eternity, for that. And also putting your voice out there. We need more voices, especially voices like Eternity as well. People that really want to help others and also like help them learn some new things and bring them a unique perspective. Especially when we are all vulnerable and we share our stories, we learn more through each other. Hey, what's going on?
Good. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. How are you doing?
Great. Great to meet you.
Yeah, great to meet you too.
Joshua Sanchez. My name is Hakeem.
Nice to meet you, Hakeem.
So, Joshua, I got to tell you, I'm very skeptical of astrology, but not in a way that it's just because it confuses me. So I'd like to I'd like to experience something that can help me out because I practice numerology and I have for 18 years, and I find some pretty amazing things. So one of the projects I'm doing now is to listen to different astrologers and like the different readings they give to people. Like you just gave Eternity's reading. And so I'm now taking notes and matching up and seeing, okay, how does this match up with the numerology? So it's just very interesting because I actually wrote, I'm just doing a project right now, one of many where I compare. That's all.
Okay, I got you.
And I've seen some pretty interesting stuff so far.
Yeah, it's definitely very interesting, I will say. And whatever questions you have as well, I'm willing to answer for you. And if you even want your own chart read, I have the website now. If you want to do a little bit of it. So
yeah, if whatever you're offering, I'm definitely willing to take a look at that and see what it says. That's no problem.
Oh, of course. And also, once we are done, like this little like conversation that we're having, once you are done with all your work and stuff, you can send me. I'll hit you up and give you my email, so that way you can send me all your finished work and stuff, and I'll give it a read. And because numerology is something that I'm a little new towards, but it's so fascinating.
Yeah.
Like because numbers has always been a big part of my life. I know for me, like number 9 and number 7.
Yeah.
But that we'll talk about that on the side. Yeah. But right.
Well, you know what? While you're doing your here's an idea. So we'll do my chart right now, the little mini chart that you'll do, and then I'd like to talk to you. Like maybe we can have a longer conversation where either I come in to your room here, your space like this, or you do. I open up a talk, and then we can just shoot back and forth about astrology and numerology. I think it would be kind of useful, and a lot of people would probably like to hear it. I've done a bunch of numerology readings here for a lot of people. I do them every day. So I just think that would be kind of fun, and I think people would like to see maybe taking messages and seeing what kind of calculations we come up with for both on the astrology and numerology side and seeing how they come out. Just a thought.
Oh yeah, I'm down with that too. I know for today I got some. Like I was only going to chat probably for like another hour, and because I got work and stuff. But
you're good for today.
But yeah, we'll plan and schedule some in the future. I'm down, Hakeem, as well, and that's cool. I'm always down for new opportunities. Exactly. So definitely.
Yeah. So the my birth date is September 17th, so 9/17.
Okay, so 9/17. Also, happy early birthday. You got a couple days left.
Oh, that is correct. You're right.
Yeah, it is. It's the 15th today, so everyone listening should give Hakeem a happy birthday.
Stop.
Nah, I'm messing with you.
That right there, to me, that part of it, that detail about the time of birth is really strange because, I mean, I guess, well, actually, no, now that I think about it, because astrology is based on astronomy. So, okay, never mind. No, I get it.
No, it's all good. It's all new.
I just learned something new.
Yeah, definitely.
No, but I just learned something new just by thinking about that. I was like, wait a minute. Because in astrology, based on astronomy, the time of day, it can be general because it's not a super specific for that, I think, right? Because it's like general within an hour or so, it's okay, or is it like always specific numbers you need?
So when it comes to birth time, as long as you have a solid estimate to like if you were born in a day, if you can give me like 2 different times where you might have been born in, then that's cool. Because the only thing that gets thrown off is if you don't know your exact birth time is the housing system. So there's 12 houses, and the first house is obviously it's called your rising or ascendant. There's been an argument that your rising might be more important than your actual sun sign because your first house sets the mood for your rest of your houses. So it goes, yeah. So like,
Okay. So if I gave you the right time, then when I hear what you have to say, I should know if it was right. But I'm pretty sure it's 5:46 a.m.
Yeah, and even if you do like figure out your actual time later, like that's okay too. But and some things might resonate with you, some things might not, and that's okay, because we all feel certain different things, it happens, so for you, when I see your chart right away, so you're a Virgo sun. So that means like you're a Virgo in your core, so attention to the details, very observant, really very hardworking. But the problem with a lot of Virgos at times is they can fall under the trap of perfectionism at times because you focus so much on the details, that if there's any little like mess up or screw up, it's like, oh no, I can't put this out now because they might come at this or they might come at that. Like perfectionism is a problem that a consistent problem that a lot of Virgos that I know and Virgos that I've done their charts with have talked to me about.
Yeah, I've learned to redirect
I got you. And one of the things that strikes out to me right away, just a quick glance. So your rising sign and your sun sign are the same sign. So what this means is, so your rising sign, like I said, it's the first house. It's when the second you were born, your soul entered your physical body in this sign. And what happened was, like, for people that have the rising that's the same as the sun, you have a very strong sense of self because your rising sign it's the mask that you present to people. What you see is what you get, So the energy that you put off to people is who you are to your core. So like you have a strong sense of self. When I first see your chart right away, it's like, okay, rising and sun, very strong sense of self. And you have the double Virgo energies. So when it really comes into details and helping people and trying to like really like obtain knowledge, because Virgo is ruled by Mercury, and Mercury is the planet of communication and intellect. So it's all about learning new things and having that quick-wittedness. Virgos and Geminis, they are ruled by Mercury. And the thing is with first house placements, because you have like this added confidence towards self, like you have a very good connection for your ego and stuff. You can use that for good or for bad, because there's some people have had like the same rising and sun, and they end up like having too high of an ego, and then that can clash heads with people. But if you learn to control, like to control the energy, put it off when you need to, because not everybody has a strong sense of self. So that's just an example of how like the rising, having that combination of the same rising and same sun can be good, can present challenges. But another thing, just starting off, your moon sign. So your sun is obviously the ego, who you are in your core. Your moon is all about what's inside your mind. It's the unconscious. It's how you process things emotionally. And your moon is in Scorpio. So although you have like a lot of earth energy for your ego, you're attentive to the details and stuff. Scorpios they can be emotionally intense at times. And like when it comes to their emotions, they're very good at reading people too. So Virgos are good at it because they focus on the details. Scorpios do it in like an emotional way where they'll look at you and feel your energy, if you get what I'm saying. So you have those two energies as long as to go along with your rising, which is Virgo. And that's what when anybody says like, what are your big three? That's your big three. So your rising, sun, and moon. Moon sign is Scorpio, sun sign is Virgo, and then rising is Virgo for you. And your moon is in the third house. So the third house is the house of communication. So, and it's also like routines, rituals.
Joshua, my one of my DBAs, one of my businesses that I'm building is actually called Hakeem Alexander Communications. And but I spell communications with a K, with two Ks, like the German way. But yes, it's the same thing, communications. And so much of what you said is spot on accurate. Somebody was giving me a reading the other day. Actually, a couple people did. Somebody did tarot. Somebody did astrology. I gave them the wrong rising sign. I told them Aquarius, just as an experiment. But yeah, this is very quite fascinating, and you would love, I think, the article. It's a scientific research paper based on astrology and geophysics, and it has a little bit of information about numerology in there too. But it goes into astrology, geophysics, circadian rhythms, seasonal affective disorder. Like it's pretty wild on how I speculate about the possible causes of the effects of planets on human behavior and astrology, but I do it based off of the position. It's basically the same thing as astrology, but I just talk about it in a way that physicists would talk about how the moon has a pull on the Earth's gravity and the oceans, kind of thing.
I got you. Yeah, that's really cool. And once we're done our talk and stuff, if you can send me that, I'll make sure. I think I have my email in my profile, but yeah, just send me that. I'll give that a read. That's really cool. Thank you, Hakeem.
Well, it's been a pleasure. You're a gem, my brother. I really appreciate the information and the reading. It's amazing.
All right, so that was Hakeem. That was really cool. And now we got another one. I know James is coming on. My fault. I might have some allergies, so bear with me, guys. Hey everybody, I hope you guys are enjoying the podcast. I just want to give you guys a very special announcement. So starting in the beginning of September, I will be doing astrology chart readings for anybody that is interested in learning a little bit more about themselves and their natal chart. I am not someone that is going to predict the future, but I am someone that is going to give you guidance and really help you process yourself in the present moment, whatever challenges or blocks that you face. But you can click on the link in the show description to schedule a one-on-one meeting with me where you get your chart read, where it's going to be a very safe space for you guys to open up and share your own journeys, your own anxieties, fears, and I hope that we can both learn something from each other along the way. I do have a confidentiality agreement that everyone must sign and follow, and prices will vary depending on the income in which you guys make. I am someone that is very flexible and knows that we all have certain situations in life that can impact us financially, emotionally, anything pretty much. But it really is just a safe space for everyone to connect, grow, and learn some things about themselves. So again, you can check out that link to schedule a one-on-one call with me, Josh Sanchez, host of Your Spiritual Best Friend, and I hope to see everybody soon and to help you along the way on your own spiritual journey.
This is the best that I got, but I've been listening to the show. Fascinating stuff. So it's always interesting to see people like yourself working in space. I don't have a full grasp on it, but I'm fascinated and always curious because I just like going down rabbit holes. So Hakeem is really cool. First of all, I'm following you guys both just because I like the conversation between you two. So I just have a question, sort of, kind of, maybe you can help me.
Yeah, I got you.
And so he said he was a numerologist. What sounds like kind of speaking from a more scientific basis, which is really cool. So there's numerologists, there's psychics, there's tarot card readers, and of course then there's, I guess, I don't know what you call yourself, like a chart reader or something, intuitive people as well. So I don't know, where do you place yourself, I guess, in this sphere of seers and people who kind of have this intuitive knowing about another person, another soul? Like, I guess I'm trying to figure out how does it all connect, and then maybe we can get to a mini chart reading or something like that. So,
Oh yeah, of course. Of course. So James, first I want to say thank you for sharing the question and being open to share. And we'll get into your chart in a little bit if that's something that you're very comfortable with. But to answer your question first, like a lot of astrology chart readers, they usually, it all depends on what calls to them. It's sort of just like, have you ever like done something, and it just feels right? You feel passionate towards it and you just want to just keep going and keep learning more and keep expanding. Because we all have those certain things throughout life, that we find that we're very passionate towards. But when it comes to like astrology chart readings, I it's kind of hard how to like define it as a term, but I would probably say I like the term. It's pretty much like an astrologist, astrologer. That's something that a lot of people like to go by. So that what they do is like they look at your chart and they pretty much just like, because what happens is we have a natal chart and then we also have a current transit chart. So our natal chart is obviously it's the planets where they were when we were born. And then a transit chart is what's actually going on today in the present. So that's why like some people will say Mercury, like I started saying like Mercury's in retrograde right now and we're all feeling it because it is. Like Mercury's in retrograde. A lot of planets are in retrograde, but that's currently what's happening like today, what's going on. So you have your natal, which is what's going on when you were born, and then you have your transit, which is going on today. But to answer your question, I would just say astrologer. But people do offer chart readings. A lot of people that are in the tarot, I've actually I've gone to a couple people that do tarot card readings. That's been really cool. It's all tools in the toolbox I like to describe to help us understand ourselves and connect with ourselves a little bit more. And one of the big things, just to add to your question, like for people that do a lot of like spiritual work and to have like that calling to help people, ethics is an importance. So for everybody that is interested in getting into spiritual healing or psychicship, mediumship, all that avenue, you really have to have some good ethics because you're going to be working with people and they're going to come in with some like deep rooted questions, or like they might come in like trying to really find themselves again, and having that power, to like, and having that passion to really help people is really important. You need to be very ethical as well in the process. So that is something that I really like to explain as well. Ethics is huge because I'm also trying to be a mental health counselor too. So like I've had this passion. I've always had this passion for helping people, but now it's just like I want to combine the two in a way to help people, So to answer your question though, astrologer, that's pretty much what I would call it, or you can just say like an astrology chart reading. You could say stuff like that, but I mean, that's a good question though. It got me thinking too.
I like your answer. So let me tell you what I really like about your answer. Like, there's a lot there, but I really like how you are looking to kind of combine both the field of work. You mentioned mental health. And I personally think, because I've been working on this podcast, it's called Intellect and Intuition. Yeah, ultimately, I was just simply complimenting you on combining both worlds because I think it's necessary for like complete healing on some levels. We can't. So you mentioned like being a mental health worker. I don't know in what respect you're looking or how deep you're going into that field, but just being an astrologist, as you call it, which I think is very cool. But like from just reading about myself from a Capricornian perspective, I'm like, some of the stuff fits, but I'm like, I'm in a really unique space where I feel like I'm expanding, I should say.
Mm-hmm. I got you.
I'm seeing the world. I've always saw the world differently. Even my mom would say that, but it's not in the. I almost feel like I don't fit the Capricorn mold.
I got you.
In a universal sense these days. But go ahead.
So just looking at your chart right away. So the only thing that's going to get thrown off, because since we don't know your exact birth time, is like the housing system. So how the housing system's all set up is like you have houses 1 through 12, and And your rising sign is a very big, important part of your chart. But if you don't have that, it's still okay. But looking at your chart first glance, I could see how you might not resonate with your Capricorn energy as much, because looking at your chart, so it says Capricorn sun, and then it says your moon is either Gemini or Taurus, and then your Mars is still Sagittarius, and then you have a couple other Sagittarius placements. So I could see now. So I just picked a random time in the AM. So I could see how you might resonate a little bit differently towards Capricorns, because Geminis are all about, if they're similar to Sagittarius in a little bit of a way, where it's like they want to learn new information, but Geminis do it in a less serious manner. They do it in a more like witty and a little bit more aloof way of learning new stuff. Whereas with Sagittarius is they do it with passion, because they're a fire sign. So like fire signs are very like passionate, fiery, can be intense at times, like a little too much. Whereas air signs are more chill about it. Like they still want to learn new information, but they're chill, they're more relaxed about it. So I don't, that might resonate with you a little bit, but once we get your time or a little bit better estimate, we'll be good to go. But the Gemini energy, you might resonate more towards the Gemini Sag energy than your Capricorn energy, if you get what I'm saying. But yeah, so I mean, when I look at your chart right away, that's what I do see. And it's really cool, So I can look up, because I know to learn a little bit more, I always, because this is just a quick glance. To know a little bit more, you can always just like Google, like, okay, like let me look up Moon in Gemini and see if you have a little bit more, if you feel more towards that, or Moon in Taurus, because for you, your moon is either in Taurus or in Gemini, depending on the time that you're born in. Because Taurus they're more of a chill, calm, because they're an earth sign. So earth signs are very grounded, calm, like they're very big on like the physical a little bit. But Taurus does it in a way because they're ruled by Venus, where it's all about like the five senses. So like smell, sight, touch, taste. Like I know for me, I'm a Taurus, so I love restaurants, I love candles, I love just like a lot of stuff that has like that really helps stimulate my five senses. But that's what Tauruses do, and they're also very calm, and they're very just like they're very down to earth people, very calm, very chill. And Geminis are they do it in a different way. Geminis are more social. They're quick witted. They love to know information. They can be a little bit aloof, so they can be a little bit all over the place, not as calm as the Taurus. But Geminis are more social, whereas Tauruses are more like, I'm gonna stay home and I'm gonna chill. Geminis are more like, all right, let's go out. Let's expand our knowledge. Let's learn new things. Let's do this, this, and this. Tauruses, they work hard, but they love their comfort. If you get what I'm saying. So those are the two energies. So you're either a Taurus moon or Gemini moon. So I would look up that.
Yeah, I'll look it up. It feels, just based on how you just described both, definitely feels more Taurusy. To say
I got you. Yeah, because I was gonna say, because like Taurus energy is cool. Like I'm not, for any signs that I described, there's positives, there's challenges, like that's just every sign and stuff. I know for me, like I'm a Taurus, so it resonates with me. I'm like, yeah. I'm someone where it's like I have my routines. I have like I work hard. Like when I put my mind into something, I love to dig deep and stuff. But I'm not someone that like jumps into like 50 projects all at once. Like I need my one or two that I know so much information in. And then let's just build that routine. Let's build that comfort. Let's build that stability. Tauruses are very big on stability, and because they're very physical. So like they can be a little bit materialistic at times. So it's like those physical possessions have meaning and stuff like that too. So I can go a little bit more, but I don't want to like too much information too fast, if you get what I'm saying. I know for myself, I can talk a little bit.
Yeah, no,
So.
I absorb information really, really quick. I just, great brain. It works. Like, I'm not trying to be funny. It is. But like, people used to think I was smart. I'm like, nah, I just retain a lot. So I guess that's a form of intelligence, but like, it's not too much. I'm grabbing everything you're saying, taking it in.
Okay, I got you, definitely. But yeah, do you have any other questions? I know you have a couple seconds left. I'll let you rejoin, and then. But yeah, like I thank you again for sharing your chart and stuff too, man. It's been really cool. Thank you.
Man, I'm such a shy, humble person. Thank you for this moment. I appreciate that.
But I want to help you guys as much as possible. Feel free to message me too. I know I have a couple messages here. I apologize for the ones that I have not gotten to yet. I will get to you guys literally once I'm done recording this podcast. But stay safe, everybody. I hope everybody has a wonderful week. Be patient with yourself, everybody. Remember, Mercury's in retrograde, so things are going to be thrown out of whack right now. You're going to be thrown off your routine, and just listen and learn to just be okay with the adjustments, even though I know how hard it is. You're not alone. Don't be shy to ask for help. Be patient and love yourselves, everybody. But have a wonderful weekend. Stay safe, everybody. And this is Josh signing off.
Thing. He speaks, but yeah, that's what I got.
Yeah, that's really cool, James, as well. And I'll make sure I'll give you a follow, and I'll check out all your work too, man. Thank you for coming on and wanting to share your chart and stuff. And thank you for being patient with me too, because I had some trouble spelling your city. I was like, I can't find this. But thank you. I appreciate it.
You too, Joshua. Take care, man. Great work.
So that concludes today's podcast. Remember, guys, during Mercury in retrograde, be patient with yourself, love yourself, and be open to learning new things about yourself. Because there's going to be moments throughout our life and throughout your journey where things are going to get thrown out of whack a little bit. But just remind yourself that you are in charge, you are going to be okay, and be open to reflect and learn something new about yourself. But I hope you guys enjoyed the 3 wonderful guests, 3 wonderful conversations, and hopefully you guys got a little taste of what it's like to work with me one-on-one and get your own astrology chart read. If you guys are interested, the link will be in the show description. But like always, guys, please drop a like, rate, and subscribe on Spotify, Apple Podcast, or wherever you guys listen to the podcast. Your subscriptions will help boost the podcast overall. But I hope you guys have a wonderful week, wonderful weekend, and please stay safe. And again, be patient with yourself during this. Mercury in retrograde, you have a couple more weeks left. So bear with it, guys, and stay firm. You got this. But for now, this is Josh signing off.